So the search is over for me. I have found the perfect sleeping pad. It's the big Agnes Rapide SL Insulated. I hope you find my thoughts honest and informative. This is my kind of journey at how I ended up on getting to this sleeping pad. So just briefly before I actually look at reviewing this actual pad, I've had many sleeping pads over the years, and mainly to begin with I used Thermarest, and I had a couple of their different models. So I was really on the lookout for something lighter, and I was very attracted to the Thermarest NeoAir Uberlight for the regular version, the regular wide version. I think it was like 330 grams, and that was pretty much half the weight of the sleeping pad that I was using. So I got the Uberlight, and I was immediately really impressed by its pack size, and obviously the weight of it, and you know, the build quality and everything was really good. But on using it, I found the pad, yeah, it was pretty comfortable, but I found the pad really slippy and really noisy. Now, when I say noisy, every time I moved on the pad, not only did it make that sort of crinkly noise, but it was really squeaky. And the slippiness, I just sort of found that I sort of found myself, either slipping off the pad or the pad moving on the tent. And then the pad ended up deflating on me, once overnight. And I checked it out and it was actually leaking. So I sent it back to Thermarest, and to be fair, Thermarest kind of fixed it. I will say kind of fixed it, they actually replaced it. But you know what, I'd kind of just lost my confidence in the pad, and I just realised at that point that, yeah, I'd got like a really lightweight sleeping pad, but it just wasn't the pad for me, so I started to look at other pads. So after a lot of research, I ended up with the Nemo Tensor Insulated regular wide. And it seemed to be a really good pad. It was going up, in weight, over 500 grams compared to the Thermarest, the Uberlight. But I sort of thought, this has definitely got all the features that I actually want. So the Tensor, was a really well-made pad, nice materials, felt completely premium. But for me, comfort-wise, yes, it was a step up from the Thermarest. Now the Nemo pad is 3 inches thick, I think, and the Thermarest was 2.5. So it was a step up in comfort, and it did lots of things really well, but it just, I don't know. I mean, I used it 5 or 6 times, and comfort-wise, it just really wasn't what I was looking for. So I started to search online for another pad, and I ended up with the big Agnes Rapide SL Insulated, because the one area that the Nemo wasn't doing it for me was comfort, and certainly looking at all the reviews, I decided to actually go for the big Agnes. Now, thickness-wise, the Thermarest that I was actually using was 2.5. I moved up to 3 centimeters thick on the Nemo, and the big Agnes was then 3.5. And you know what? As soon as I lay down on it, I just found it really comfortable. So now I will go on and look at my actual review of this pad. So pack size, I think this is really good. I think the easiest thing to do is compare it to an Nalgene bottle. So that's just kind of like, end on. And that's just sort of like circumference wise, so pack size really good. And I also found that it actually fits quite well in the bag. There's a little bit of space, so I'm not tortured whenever I finished my camp trying to get the mat actually into its stuff sack, although obviously you can use a different stuff sack if you want. Now in the bag here you get a little repair kit, and also you get, this here is the standard pump sack that comes with it, and this pump sack is actually made out of the same material as the pad itself, and it gives you an idea, it lets you really feel, the thickness of the material, and this material actually feels really good, and very robust. Now I did actually change the pump sack. If I'm being honest, I've actually never used this, but I changed it, to this one. Just really because it's a bit lighter, and I can use this as dual purpose. So I actually put my sleeping bag in here as well, and use this as a sleeping bag holder, but also for inflating the actual pad. So the materials here in this pad, definitely felt more durable than the Nemo, and way more durable than the Thermarest NeoAir Uberlight. The valve system, you have a double valve here, one for inflation and one for deflation, and the seals on these and the way that these click into place, the build quality is really good, and again better than the Nemo in my opinion. The wind here is actually blowing against this slightly and stopping me from fully inflating the bag, but you can get a lot of air into this pump sack, and I would actually recommend it. Or if you're the type of person who just prefers one of the tiny pumps out there, go for that as an option. This is just a full view then of the pad, so you can see the kind of way the baffles are, and you should also be able to see that the baffles at the sides are actually thicker than in the middle. So the thickness here on the thin bit is actually 3.5 inches, and the end bits here are actually 4.25. So mainly if we use a 3.5 as a comparison, the Nemo was actually 3 and the Thermarest was 2. Or sorry, 2.5. And when I sort of moved from the Thermarest to 2.5, from 2.5 up to the Nemo at 3, I could notice a bit of a difference, but when I actually moved to this up to 3.5, you know, it really was just what I was looking for. I mean, the search absolutely was over, because for me, I was looking for comfort, and this just delivered, it really, really delivers on the comfort. So even when I'm sitting on the pad, you can kind of just see there, like, there is so much thickness on it. And when I lie down on it, on my back, you know, honestly, I'm really, really well supported. Also, I have found it, while it technically is the same measurement as a Nemo, it's just about that much longer in reality. And I can just sit my ankles, if I'm lying on my back, it just catches me on the Achilles tendon and still supports my feet up off the ground. And just gives me really, really good support. And it's not bouncy at all. So whether I'm actually lying down on my back or turned round onto my side, you know, the comfort is really, I mean, it's a 10 out of 10. I would kind of rate the Nemo maybe an 8 out of 10, and some of the rest about a 7. But for me, this is a definite 10 out of 10. Now, one thing that I will talk about is R value, and the R value of this I think is maybe 4.2. And I'm going to put a couple of little charts just up on the screen now to equate R values into actual temperature ratings, because there seems to be a bit of a difference depending on what website you go onto. But for use in the UK here, you know, I think it's safe to say that this here's more than comfortable down to, you know, -6, maybe -8 degrees centigrade. And that is easily has enough insulation in it for me. You know, to turn around and buy a Neowear, a Thermarest Neowear X-Therm with an R value now of, you know, I think it's maybe 7.3. You know, you're really focusing on that R value as being the one killer asset, you know, and if you're somebody who sleeps really cold, then maybe, you know, maybe fair enough. But, you know, if you look at on the screen here now, the R value ratings for the Neowear X-Therm 7.2, when you convert that into temperature, it's like more than -20. This here is good for maybe, I would say, -6, -8. And in fact, I've used this and measured -8. So look, what are my final thoughts on this big Agnes Rapide SL insulated sleeping pad? I was looking really for comfort, and on comfort, a 10 out of 10 compared with all the other pads that I have used. It really does deliver. Weight wise, in and around the 700 grams, I can easily cope and manage that. Pack size, you know, I've showed you compared to the size of an Alton bottle, you know, a little, you know, a lot bigger than the Thermarest, you know, Neowear Uberlight, and a fraction larger than the Nemo. But again, for the comfort that this delivers, you know, for me, it is the perfect sleeping pad. So look, thank you very much for watching. No idea what video I'm going to have up next, but it's certainly going to.